I do believe. And we are getting started, guys. It is 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. Monday, the 1st of July, AD 2024, the year of our Lord. And we're going to have a fun show, guys. I hope you join me. I will be taking your calls. We'll be giving a little bit of a shout out to the, it's White History Month. We love the whites, if we love anybody. If you love anybody, you love the whites. It's true. It's true. Lord have mercy. So I talk about, what's that gal's name? Ashley Biden. I do hope to talk about her because I mentioned that I might, and so I think I shall. She's pushing something that's old news. Hey, gays, your time is up. You know how they're doing this fake false pride and false identity month last month? Well, she was at the White House. The daughter, about my age, a little bit older. She's about a month older than Hake. Ashley Biden at the White House with her mother. I guess that's her real mother, huh? Jill, Dr. Jill Biden. Shout out to the Bidens. Seem like most families, messed up. Maybe all families, really. All families messed up. Let's just say all, right? I will also take your calls, guys. Some of you guys already on hold. Appreciate it. We are welcome to call in 1-888-775-3773. I did see a super chat or two have come in. I'm not gonna talk about that part. WT one talking about. Well, I won't even say what he's talking about. I'm live on Rumble and YouTube and other platforms. I guess I should start my IG. See if I can stay live on Instagram. What a mess. But anyway, guys, let's just get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I'm wearing a Jesse Lee Peterson 2024 t-shirt. The founder of White History Month. Beautiful White History Month. It's not the exact design, but you can get a similar design by going to the Fallen State Teespring store, rebuildingtheman.com/stores. rebuildingtheman.com/stores, guys. And if you do go there, look for the Fallen State tees and scroll down. You'll see the Jesse Lee Peterson JLP 2024 t-shirt. Will he replace Biden, Joe Biden? One never knows. About Joe Biden, you guys know that he looked so old and decrepit and tired and almost in his words were hard to understand. I can't think of the word. Just call me Joe Biden's twin. During the debate last Thursday versus our greatest president, Trump, on Commie Nonsense Network themselves, his family, quote unquote, wants him to stay in. They went to Camp David, which is where any president gets to go vacation at Camp David or something like that, I guess, right? Something like that? Maybe it's not even a vacation. It's a meeting spot or something. They also have Martha's Vineyard, part of it anyway. It's a mess. Some say that it's Dr. Jill Biden, and the Obamas don't really get along, I will have you know, don't really get along with the Bidens. because they're both self-seeking with strong personality women and forceful, effeminate personality males as well. Between those two couples, right? Biden was the vice president under Obama, and he's basically still, because he's not running the show. It's his, I don't know, it's his administration seems to be running the show, I guess. I don't know. I'm speculating a bit. And they don't really need him unless they need the nuclear codes, and then they don't need the nuclear codes. So we don't really need a president. We just need some administration to handle this stuff. What a mess. But let me show you these nasty, evil things that they're promoting. Of course, predictable. I never really knew about this Ashley Biden gal. She's about my age, 43 years old, the only daughter of the president from his marriage to First Lady Dr. Jill Biden. She attended some ceremony on the South Lawn of the Black on the Inside White House with a rainbow dress thing. Maybe I should have put censorship on this. My bad. She's not wearing sleeves. No sleeves. Whoa. She was captured on video mixing up the T and the G in LTBGQ instead of LGBTQ, which is that's a buzzword lumping in all of so many of the various non-standard degenerate, because there's standard degeneracy, and then there's non-standard degeneracy, I guess, if you want to call it that. The S-word stuff, S-word and false sense of identity stuff that they're promoting during the last month of June, this past month, June. Some say she resembled her old dad. Her dear old dad, because he mixes up stuff too. Trump never confused it. Look at this. Look at this Dr. Jill Biden in front of, I guess, the White House. Did they just paint those pillars, or did they put wallpaper around it? Show a couple pictures down. Dr. Jill Biden, Pride 2024 at the White House. The Bidens preached making LGBTQ youth feel loved. Look at that. Horrific. I remember, I will never forget. Okay, so if you're not watching the show, you see, we are looking at a picture, a photograph from Getty, of Dr. Jill Biden, the so-called First Lady, in front of a podium that has a thing that says Pride 2024, and it has a motif of the picture of the White House, and behind her is the actual White House pillars, I guess. It's like a front porch thing, and these pillars, and they're in the radical S-word rainbow colors. Terrible, huh? The literal pillars are the different colors. I will never forget, I started to say, under Obama, after the Supreme Court made that forced so-called same-sex marriage down America's throat, under false pretenses, including the rhino, far-left rhino, Chief Justice John Roberts, pretending that marriage is anything other than a husband and wife, okay? They lit up the White House in rainbow colors in June of that year. Probably about almost 10 years ago. Always pandering for votes, says Tabitha. Yeah, true. We're the laughing stock of the world, RN, right now. Yeah. And this woman some say that this woman is running the show. They used to say that Bill Clinton's wife, Hillary, was the president when Bill Clinton was so-called president. Here's below here, one picture below that, there's this woman, Ashley Biden. Ashley Biden, I'd never even hardly heard of her. But she's pushing this mess. She's about my age, 43 years old she is. Just turned 43. Happy birthday, young lady. Not that young lady. No spring chicken lady. pushing this evil. And she wasn't just wearing that dress to be festive or to celebrate like something nice like Easter, resurrection of Christ. No. She did it to push that mama spirit false acceptance of the evil inside the person, not the people themselves. Because that's what they're doing. We all know that. White House Pride Month celebration. Stuns in a strapless neon rainbow dress. This is from the Daily Mail. Very sloppy, sleazy, far left extremist outfit, by the way. Some say, oh, they're right wing. No, they're not. They're not as off the deep end censoring of stuff that's embarrassing to the liberals, of course. But they're a foreign outlet, very sloppy. All of the media is getting very sloppy, by the way. Crazy stuff, huh? Crazy stuff. Pretty sick. She looks like a beautiful Caitlyn Jenner, says Blur. That's funny. A little bit, yeah. But we wish her well. People are lost. The ladies oftentimes are lost. Women don't know how to dress anymore, says Harmony. That's true. She's more muscular than Hake, says Moy. Whatever, man. I'm kind of like Joe Biden. I have his physique. And his back, too. Right now, I have kind of a beta back. I might have to stand up. I won't take a full-blown break at the top of the next hour, guys. But I may stand up and be like, oh, hold on, guys. I got to stretch. Okay, got to get up off these old bones. Because I'm getting into my 40s, like Ashley. And by the way, she had women write stuff and are a mess. Don't pay any mind to it. That's their business, first of all. And second of all, don't trust the testimony of a woman. Women can't even trust their own testimony. That's just mess. I'm not interested in it. Don't call me about it. Or if you really want to, you got to keep it in coded language. Because this is a family-friendly, child-friendly, ladies-friendly show, okay? You know what I mean? And on top of that, I don't care. Whatever. That's just FYI, you guys writing about. There's only one reason you guys ever heard of Ashley Biden. And let's leave that alone. Just a little heads up for you guys. It's better for your own life, and it's better for... It's just better, trust me. Okay. All right. I want to get to Hayden in Texas is on the line. Haden, right? Hayden out of Texas? I'd like to make sure I get it right. Is that true?
That's it.
Hey, good to hear from you, man.
Happy White History Month, man.
Yeah, happy White History Month to you as well. Appreciate it.
Such a great day to start out White History Month. Wow.
Yeah.
I wanted to get to something, but I didn't catch all your show. I caught some of it, but not a lot. On Friday, what'd you think about the debate?
I was shocked at how feeble Biden's voice was. I didn't know that. Is that how he sounds nowadays, or was he sick, or was he tired from training so much at Camp David because he was practicing for the debate? But he sounded so feeble and weak, even more soft-spoken than normal.
He's deteriorated so much over the past couple of months.
Yeah.
I mean, it is really bad.
Yeah.
And the fact that the liberal media is taking up for that and say that they said it was a cold after the debate. He had a cold, supposedly.
Right. I heard that.
It's him deteriorating, and it's a shame.
Yeah,
that they're putting him through this.
Yeah, and I heard that the wife is the one probably most behind it.
She's a big part of it,
Jill.
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, what a shame. I mean, this is their only hope. Biden. Can you imagine? I would be so ashamed of myself to be a Democrat.
Yeah, I know.
Your only hope for your party is Joe Biden. And the chances are he's going to stay in the race.
You think so? I don't know. It's a toss-up because there's so many people talking about swapping him out. 73%, I think, of people, according to one poll of voters, think that he's not fit for a second term.
He's saying in it. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. But Trump absolutely killed it.
Yeah.
He absolutely killed it. And the media is trying to bring him down to Biden's level, saying, look, these are our two candidates.
Yeah.
America's gotten so awful. No, Trump did Biden lied the entire time.
True.
Saying that the Border Patrol endorsed him and stuff. I can't even keep up with the amount of lies and stuff. Everyone knows there's a lie.
Right. Indeed. Yeah, that's wild that they accused Trump of lying. The media characterization of the debate was Biden put in a poor performance and Trump lied. No, Biden put in a poor performance and Biden lied. You can nitpick at stuff that Trump says, but overall, Trump is and always has been a truth teller.
Yep. He was solid on every level. The delivery, the message, everything. It was absolutely amazing. The purpose of me calling is, do you remember? I couldn't help but respond to this because I came across the verse.
Oh, cool.
Do you remember you and Joe from Phoenix conversation about Asmodor, and he said that he's burning in hell, and then Mark's next and everything, and then he gave you do you remember that conversation?
I do. Yep.
And he quoted speaker really quick. He kept saying this one Bible verse, and I came across it today. I was like, wait, this is the one that Joe from Phoenix brought up. And if your audience doesn't already know that Joe from Phoenix is a fraud, this will confirm it, okay?
The Bible verse?
There?
The Bible verse?
Yeah.
What's the Bible verse?
Leviticus 26:6-7, and I'll read it for you if you want me to.
Okay, yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, so the verse that he wanted to just point out was Leviticus 26:7, which says, "You will pursue your enemies, and they will fall by the sword before you." He did not include. I feel like this is intentional. Leviticus 26:6, which says, "I will grant peace in your land, and you will lie down, and no one will make you afraid. I will remove wild beasts from your land, and the sword will not pass through your country." Now, Jesse says all the time, and he's right when he says this. When he says white country, we're the majority race in this country, and that's biblical, saying that God's going to protect our land. And that's just Joe from Phoenix again with misinformation and just trying to make it sound like his people are going to take over. So I just feel like sharing that with your audience.
Did you just say that that this Leviticus verse applies to America?
He said Leviticus 26:7 applied to his people, that he thinks that we're the enemies and we're going to fall by the sword.
Yeah.
But the verse before that says that God's going to protect your land, and so.
And I think that land, I don't think it has anything to do with America or what's happening today specifically. It's talking about the Israelites, I'm presuming.
Well,
because that Leviticus was the Old Testament referring to, probably written to the Israelites. I'm quite sure the Old Testament Israelites.
Right.
I don't think it had anything to do with Asmodor or America or Joe Biden's. I mean, Joe from Phoenix. Sorry, Joe.
Yep.
Joe from Phoenix. Sleepy Joe from Phoenix's so-called enemies or anything.
Yep.
I think, it was. Thank you for pointing that out, because that was a ridiculous thing for him to bring up as justification for celebrating the passing of our resident historian, Asmodor, from
And he was such
West
he was
Texas.
such a great man too.
Yeah.
I've been reading up on him and stuff, and he was such a respectable person.
Yeah.
I cannot believe he would make statements like that. But I wanted to read that because I mean, if that applies to, if he thinks that applies to him, that applies to us even more. If that applies in an American context, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I don't think I wouldn't try to. I wouldn't be like the black Israelites and try to play like it applies to us because we don't know what the future holds. What God didn't. I don't think that God made any promises about America specifically. He just made promises to people if they go about life this way, their life will go this way. If they go about this life this way, it won't go so well. So I think we should.
We know who the wild beasts are in America, right?
I wasn't thinking that, but that's kind of funny. He's kidding, guys. He's kidding. Pretty sure you're kidding, right? You're just joking.
Well, I'll take 25% of that away.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I'll say 75% with my chest.
Right. Nice. I appreciate it, Hayden. Thanks for the call. It's nice to hear from you. Happy White History Month to you.
Same to you. Same to you.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Jeff in Louisiana on the line here. Jeff in Louisiana, it's good to hear from you. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. I had it's kind of a joke and kind of a issue topic. After the president's debate the other night, Biden kind of changed my mind on abortion a little bit. There's one circumstance I wouldn't be opposed to going to, having it. I was going to see if you called him. During the debate, when Biden was talking about, he brought the abortion issue, he started talking about bringing up little 12-year-old girl Trump went to her funeral. Did you catch that part?
I remember he talked about Trump went to a funeral and there are R words, ape rays, rapes that happen to women.
Did you catch the part he said when he talked about abortion? He's like, well, he didn't mention when an in-law or a family member or a brother or a sister R-word a sister.
Oh. You said a sister will R-word a sister?
Yeah, and he's talking about abortion.
Yeah, there's no abortion that comes when a sister R-words a sister.
That's what he brought. Go back and watch the debate. That's what he said.
Wow.
When a brother or a sister R-word a sister, which abortion should, talking about that should be adopted for abortion.
Was that the context? I thought that he was talking about immigrant crime and because migrants have been accused of R-wording some American women, I guess, or women in general.
Well, the issue for discussion was abortion.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But he started talking about that Trump went to funeral and talking about immigrants coming up, migrants, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Illegal. That's the word, illegal.
Yeah. It's really
about them all people and that being abortion. But then he said, but they don't mention when in-law or family member or brother or sister or sister, R-word them. That only makes sense. How's a sister going to R-word a sister and get an abortion?
Well, his mind is pretty confused, and he talks a little bit faster than his mind can keep up, and then he says, it's just ridiculous.
And did you see after the debate, they had a press conference after the debate, and Jill Biden was looking at him like right in his face like a 5-year-old child going, you answered every question, Joe.
I did see that. And you had all the facts, and what did Donald Trump do? Lie! I saw that on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. I guess the third hour or second hour.
You know how embarrassing that is our country right now?
It really is.
People around the world are seeing this. This is who's leading the free world.
It's no wonder that Putin is invading Ukraine and China is licking their chops, looking at Taiwan and maybe Hong Kong and all kinds of mess going on in the world. They're just abusing us.
If he gets reelected, they're going to be invading us.
Iran and Hamas and Israel are doing whatever they want. And
but if he gets reelected, they're going to be invading us because how we're going to stop them? Because we got
They already are invading us if you think about it. There's invasions going on, and he supports it.
Yeah, and all them Chinese come over buying up all that land, farmland around our military bases.
Yeah.
And they just don't. Man, that debate was a joke, dude.
It really was.
I saw a headline that said Trump's going to be charged for murdering an elderly person.
Metaphysically speaking, of course. We're not talking about actual murder. That's funny, though.
Yeah, but it said there's a headline posted up there on the website that said Trump charged with murder for killing an elderly person on national TV.
Trump was kind to him.
He was. He could have destroyed him, but man, my favorite part of the debate is when Trump just looked, when he started rambling off, and Trump just, Trump would keep a straight face the whole time. And he kind of looked at it, and he just looked at it like, what is he saying?
Yeah.
And then they come to Trump, and well, man, let me let you go.
Okay, it's good to hear from you, Jeff in Louisiana. Take care, man. Appreciate it. A few super chats, guys. I want to keep up with the super chats. Don't want to leave you guys hanging on buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report. C bought a coffee saying Samson. I always put a P in there because I'm thinking Samson. But it's actually Samson, no P in Samson. Samson, when you go hiking, don't pet any wild animal. White boy, they have rabies. Potentially. White people always want to pet some weird animals. Screaming face emoji and big eyes, scared, concerned emoji. Thank you for the heads up, C. Do they have animals, wild animals back in Ethiopia or wherever you're from? I imagine so, right? Do the Ethiopians know better how to deal with wild animals than the whites? Some whites like to touch the animals. What makes you think that I was petting animals or was wanting to pet animals? Maybe I feel like I want to pet the little lizards and things. Do lizards get rabies? Hopefully not. I know to stay away from mice. Field mice will mess you up, okay? Those little field mice, they're just so cute, but don't touch them. Stay away from field mice because they can carry a crazy disease. Is it hantavirus or it's not fantavirus. Hantavirus, Hanta, something like that, virus. Rats can sometimes have stuff, or at least the fleas on the rats. I don't know. Opossums, I guess it's called. Opossums, not possums. Maybe a little iffy. Snakes you can handle, right? Snakes are okay, unless they're red touch black, don't do jack. Red touch yellow, kill a fellow. The coral snakes you want to stay away from because they're poisonous or venomous. King snakes are okay. They won't hurt you. I mean, they may hurt you with a bite, but they don't have venom. You want to stay away from rattlers, sidewinders, and other things. Mojave rattlesnakes will mess you up. They have like neural toxins, which is crazy. Thank you for the heads up, C. Appreciate that. I will try to be a little bit more careful and alert on the road. Lord Bibby 42 about 5 coffees. Happy White History Month, and let us rejoice with James Hake's birthday celebration extravaganza. Hey, I was proud of myself. I withheld saying that this month is my birthday too. On the Jesse Lee Peterson show, somebody gave a coffee saying this month is their birthday. So, hey. God bless, amigo. Thank you, Lord Bibby. Nice to hear from you, man. My second best mod. Hey, appreciate you, man. The snake pit ran off my best moderators. And it's partly my fault. Because I undermined my best moderators. Including, spoiler alert, sends his regards. He doesn't miss you. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I'm putting words in his mouth. Mice are awesome, cute, but yeah, they're dangerous. Okay. I feel like there was another super chat. There was. WT1 says, Happy White History Month. YT History Month. Hope you celebrate with paid bills, vacations, and sunscreen. Yeah, in fact, I did put sunblock on my arms. Thank you. Appreciate the alert on that. Let me double check on Cash App. Indeed, we're fine. And Animus, thank you for that Streamlabs. I read it both on my show and on JLP's show because it seemed to apply. Okay. Before I get back to calls, let me show you guys this. I did not censor any of this, but I want to talk a little bit more about this LGB thing, maybe get it out of our system here. Chad Felix Greene posted this on X, and this is maybe not even, maybe don't even show any of these. But he wrote, because, you know, they say, oh, we don't target children. Yes, they do. In various ways. There's the Biden type of targeting where he panders to them and supports them in doing wrong and wants to misguide them, just as Obama did too. The mama spirit with young people, you know, encourage them in the degeneracy of the world. But there's also this. Every time I had every man, this is kind of vulgar. Every man I had so-called S with when I was 14 knew I was 14 beforehand. So wrote this Chad Felix Greene guy. Oh, cover your eyes, kids, ladies. LGBTQ culture has no socially imposed boundaries on it. They don't police themselves. You know how I tell people that whites are self-policing? And that's why white neighborhoods are a little bit safer, among other things. They're self-policing within their families, within themselves, and then amongst one another. Maybe sometimes they go too far, the whites. Like at a Tea Party. Tea Party rallies, you know, these boomers 10, 15 years ago, less than 15, but 10 or 12 or 13 years ago, these boomers would be like, hey, get your Confederate flag out of here. You're a secret Obama supporter. They weren't always. There's like people with the beautiful rebel flag, Southern pride, but people are brainwashed to think, oh, you just hate black people. Dumb stuff like that. So in that type of self-policing, they go too far. But anyway, they don't police themselves, the LGBTQ culture, he says. They are too consumed with protecting their political causes and shaming right-wing bigots. Teen S work is the norm in LGBTQ centers, this guy alleges. Trans icons glamorize being prostitutes as teens, and it's viewed as a rite of passage. 13 to 17-year-olds are a high-risk HIV risk group, he says. Wow. They're not necessarily getting it from fellow 13 to 17-year-old young people, is what he's implying. Progressives view children as sexual beings and independent from their parents. This is a culture, one protected from scrutiny, he says, and that's a fact. You know how, like, they say that women should get, or young underage girls should get abortions without their parents' permission? Because they speculate, oh, because some parents might abuse the kid, or whatever. Or some parents are not accepting. They're not accepting of the LGBTQ mess, or of the S out of wedlock. We need to protect them from abuse. In other words, take the children away from the parents even further. Which is not always the case of, you know, parents. Sometimes the parent knows better than these mama spirit evil people who are wolves in sheep's clothing pretending to look out for the kids. In so-called gay male culture, it's viewed as a kind of social acceptance and kindness. Older men took in teenage runaways, treating them as adults. Many left-wing gay males, he says, recall these first encounters fondly and see themselves as welcoming the next generation in a sex-positive environment. Sick stuff, huh? And you heard this same thing from another guy who was not a left-winger necessarily. He considered himself a right-winger. He was a Trump supporter. Some of you guys may recall that Milo story. He recounted with fondness some priest with him, some older priest with him as an underage guy. In previous generations, when a teenage boy ventured out to cruising areas or gay bars, this was how he found himself, quote unquote, in his new community, ostracized from normal society, they'll argue. It's become tradition. Sex positive is the norm. Sex is an expression of resistance and social rebellion for so-called queer activists, this guy says. Left-wing psychology has fully embraced the sexual child and autonomy of teenagers, gay male cultures built on youth, sex, and older men as daddies to sons. Pretty evil, huh? He goes on and on about the transgenders, and there's people who've written in black famous transgenders like Janet Mock, I think, so-called Janet Mock, wrote about it in his book or whatever. And this guy is I think he's a gay guy who's not for the left-wing stuff. He was like trying to whistleblow on the so-called community that is. And it's pretty rampant. And then they shout you down. You can't say that. You're participating in homophobia if you bring up that this is what's happening. He's with Twitchy Team, Red State, and Federalist. So he's a writer, journalist guy. This Felix Greene, which are so-called conservative organizations. Twitchy Team, not to be confused with Twitch, which is far left, Amazon-owned, I think, streaming site. Jump down to his, the very bottom one, which is his Twitter profile, or X profile. Red State is a Republican outlet. Federalist, sort of Republican outlet. So he's sort of like a normie conservative guy, but he was in that culture. I don't know about his personal life, but that's what he's reporting on. Crazy stuff, huh? First-hand accounts. Sick stuff. Hake prolonging. So false Pride Month. Yeah. Targeting the young people. And they're pretending, and it's like a false, they falsely justify it with all kinds of excuses because it's kind of evil versus evil. It's on our side, quote unquote, the anti-LGBT stuff. You know how we don't support that? There are so many people who are hating them. And so it's evil versus evil, and evil wins. Thank you, Hassan. Just wanted to put that out there. It's vulgar, but it's an evil mess in the world. Don't be deceived. Jaime in Minnesota on the line here. Jaime, thank you for calling and holding there, man. What's up? Are you there?
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm here.
Hey, good to hear from you. Doing well.
How was your weekend?
It was nice. I messed up. I broke my back. Spinal. Yesterday, I hadn't been doing much stretching, and so my back was like tight. But I'm working it out.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to talk to you about something.
Okay.
I want to talk to you about. Those statues that they tore down, the Black Lives Matter group and down south.
Yeah.
Where they tore down, who was that fella? From the Revolution, the South guy.
Oh, well, the Revolution or the Civil War? Robert E. Lee?
Civil War. Yeah, E. Lee and all that. And I was thinking about what that guest that Jesse had on earlier was saying, and that was like an image, you know, of their treaty, you know.
Right.
They stopped fighting, and they said, okay, this is enough fighting, and let's build a statue so we can remember this time.
Yeah.
And they decided to do Robert E. Lee, and those other great Americans.
Right. Nathan Bedford Forrest and others.
Yeah, and they were defaced and all kinds of other ones. And then that does destroy that treaty.
Yeah.
That social treaty.
Right.
That the South had with the North. Well, the blacks had with those whites. And it was the blacks that destroyed it. And the white liberals.
Yeah.
And I remember in the Bible when what's that fella? Abraham, he'd build altars, to say, hey, we got this pact together,
Yeah.
and let no man destroy it. And they do sacrifices with birds and cut them in half, and they'd be like, if one of us destroys this pact, then this is what will happen. The other one will do,
Yeah. Yeah. The Civil War was fought to keep America together, united, and when they, the North and South, made a deal to end the war and come back together, we wanted to become brothers again and remain brothers. And so the beautiful Southerners who wanted to hang on to their Southern pride, we let them because we love them. But no, they want to push hate and violate that and re-alienate them. That's not right. That's not unity. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I would say that the North lit us because they loved us.
The North lit us? Lit us?
Lit us. They let us build statues to our great heroes.
Right.
And then now the North has destroyed our statues.
Yeah.
A peace treaty. They tore it up themselves.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah. I only started thinking about that when who's Jesse's guest? That guy's a smart guy.
Congressman Steve King, former congressman from Iowa.
Yeah, that just came across my mind. I remember reading a book about power, how to build power, and it's like a book for leaders. It was an Asian book, some Asian book that got translated into English. But one of the things that you do to display your power is to build things, build statues, build walls, build monuments, build whatever.
Yeah.
And that's something so that everybody can see, and then, you visualize this person or this group's power.
Yep.
That Tower of Babel was going to be some major statue that was going to last forever.
Right.
But that's what that weird-looking George Floyd monument, that monument, wasn't it to George Floyd?
Yeah, there was a few. There was one where he's sitting on a park bench or something like that.
Yeah.
With his arm like this. Yeah, weird. It was weird.
I don't know if it's a George Floyd one, but it's like a black one with it looks like arms grabbing each other.
Oh.
In a circle.
Okay.
That weird looking one.
Yeah, was that an Obama one? I forget what that was. It was like a hug, and it looked like almost like poop or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the Black Lives Matter, the leftists' monuments that they're building themselves to show their power.
Yeah.
And their dominance.
Oh yeah, totally.
Interesting.
It sure is.
The only way to counteract that is to build our own, rebuild the General Lee's statue.
Yeah.
Bigger, better.
Yeah.
More beautiful.
Right. One thing that I've heard is many of those Confederate monuments, they built in the early 1900s and 1910s, 1920s, a number of decades after the end of the so-called Civil War, which ended in the late 60s, I think, something like that, around there. Late 1860s, that is. And some of it was in reaction, I guess, I don't know, to the incoming evil of so-called civil rights, the rumblings of so-called civil rights. And some anti-Christian things and anti-Southern things. And so they built those in kind of a reaction to say, no, we're this beautiful South. We're here and we're proud. And it was kind of an in-your-face thing. If it was in your face, it may have been done out of anger, not out of a pure spirit. But
Well, it could have been. Well, I do remember reading books about how those monuments came up. The daughters of, there's like a group called the Daughters of something.
Of the Confederacy, maybe.
Yeah,
like that.
And they would raise money and then buy land or to put these monuments on public land and stuff.
Yeah.
And I do remember reading that book, and it was like a anti-white kind of book. It was like,
true.
These racist women, and I do remember reading that. And, I used to have sympathies for the blacks, the Black Lives Matter and kind of thing like that, because I was getting brainwashed.
Yeah.
But now I rethink about that book and how evil it was, but how good, the white were doing.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Whatever the case, you have to just show, there's no reason to change it. Daughters of America, is that what it was? I thought it was maybe Daughters of the Daughters of the Confederacy or something. But I don't know. Interesting.
They might have changed it.
Yeah, and there's maybe multiple daughters groups. Who knows? Let's have love. Don't overreact to their evil displays, and don't overreact to their evil tearing down of our beautiful displays. Don't overreact. Don't overreact. Because otherwise it's going to be evil versus evil. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Nice, man. It's good to hear from you. Appreciate that. Go ahead.
If I could go one more thing, with the religions, Judaism, many in the Jewish religion, the religion part of it, they don't believe in an afterlife.
Oh, really?
They believe that this life is all we get, and that's why they believe that a Messiah will come and make their generations great and to rule. But the Islamic religion and the Christian religion both believe in an afterlife, that this life isn't permanent, that once we die, we go and we're judged and we either, go to one place or the other. So,
I heard that they're split in the Bible. In the Bible, I feel like the Pharisees believed there was resurrection from the dead, and the Sadducees did not think that there was no resurrection from the dead. So the Pharisees believed correctly. I seem to recall Jesus took the side of the Pharisees on that issue. And they were like all happy because some of them thought, see, Jesus agrees with us. There is resurrection from the dead. So I think the Jews are split, maybe.
Right. So I'm not talking about 2,000-3,000 years ago. I'm talking about today.
Okay. Yeah, you may be right. I don't know.
The Jewish people this is the only life you get. They don't believe in an afterlife.
So they make it count.
So they got this Talmud to help them learn how to live in this life as best as you can.
Uh-huh.
So the Talmud and the Tanakh are two different books. The Tanakh is the Old Testament. The Talmud is teachings from rabbis that have been written down.
Right.
Not from prophets, but from rabbis. But so the difference between the Jewish person, the Christian, and the Islamic is that the Christian and the Islamic believe in an afterlife. So they will try to understand God's way to live a good life here, whereas the Jewish person will try to believe that there isn't an afterlife and will try to find their own way to live life here on earth as good as possible.
Interesting. All right.
What do you think of that?
I don't know. I'm too fresh on this topic. I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you have a good rest of your day. Happy White History Month.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Wow. So, Alex in California is on the line over here. Alex, what are you up to today? How you doing?
Happy White History Month, Hake.
Appreciate it. Happy White History Month to you as well.
I think we can celebrate maybe each day of the month we go out and we seek a wild animal and try to pet it.
I saw on a competitor's podcast, whitest thing you'll see this week, some white guys patting, one white guy in particular, patting the back of a raccoon that was choking.
Oh, wow.
He was choking. And he patted him. They're like, lower, hit in an upward motion. And then
Giving him the Heimlich.
Yeah, he basically dislodged the thing that he was choking on. And he could breathe again. And then he walked away. And they're like, oh, yeah. So right on to those white men, young men.
That's pretty intense right there.
Yeah. And raccoons, you don't necessarily want to touch those. I think they can be rabid as well. Or they're maybe immune to rabies or something. But they can pass them
Something
to you.
like that. I think possums are immune.
Oof.
But yeah, anyways.
Anyway.
Yeah, two things that were kind of grinding my gears this weekend. One of them, real quick, there's a short or a video reel, TikTok, whatever you want to call it. I'll just say 2 words. Hawk Tuah.
Oh, yeah.
I strongly disagree with this video, and it's very upset. Well, I don't want to be a liberal, all emotional and everything. It's upsetting. It is actually upsetting when I see a bunch of Christian, conservative white males getting a big old belly laugh out of this.
Yeah.
Because that's like a blonde, blue-eyed white American woman
With a
that's
beautiful
somebody's
southern
daughter,
accent,
possibly
too.
sister, she's going to be a mother one day. All this stuff, and we're just laughing it up like it's funny. Yeah.
No, that was evil. There was a viral video, just for those who aren't familiar, and this young lady, I'm using the term, I guess, loosely, but beautiful young Southern woman, seemed like, made a vulgar statement about some degenerate S-word act, and it went viral, and it seemed funny to a lot of people, and it really ground Alex from California's gears, because that's not the right direction of the people. But now we're getting into...
It really steamed my clams, Hake.
Yeah, understandably, man. It's sick. And
I
like you
think
said,
one thing that you and I have in common, we have a disdain for vulgarity in general, but vulgar women.
Yeah.
Very off-putting.
No, yeah, you're really messing up your life. I don't know if you caught church with Jesse Lee Peterson yesterday, but he had a little address to the ladies about...
Yeah, I actually didn't agree with... I don't know, we don't have to get into that, but I didn't really agree with what he was saying.
Okay.
For the most part.
But I liked that message. It's kind of in the same vein about ladies, don't be falling for this degeneracy.
That I agree with. I didn't agree with him saying that it shouldn't be emotional, and mama's boys see it as an emotional thing or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we don't need to get into that.
Sure, that's fine.
I just disavow that real.
Yeah, of course. Right on, man. Thank you for bringing it. I hadn't even addressed it. I had seen other people in other chats talking about it on like Joel Friday TV. Joel hadn't mentioned it, I don't think, but people in the chat were saying that Joel should bring it up, and he may.
The more time that passes quickly and things that happen, the quicker it'll go away.
Yeah, true. And it's unfortunate because she's been because it went viral. I bet you that the little ego in her is congratulating her and slapping her on the back, figuratively speaking. And that's not good.
Yeah, I bet Dad's real happy about it too.
Yeah, for real.
So on Friday, you had a particularly vile call from Maze. You're very patient and you can handle it, but she's got that contrarian thing where you can't even finish a sentence and she's just against everything that you say, no matter what it is, and it gets really irritating. I would love to get a chance to be connected with the hummingbird brain if possible, but it's not. But yeah.
What was she talking
think
about? I don't
she's
even
got-
remember.
I mean, it wasn't anything different than she normally does. It's just the contrarian, going against everything. I get tired of that. It's very childish.
Fair enough.
But yeah, basically, I believe that her and Joe have very bad tunnel vision when it comes to white people and race in general. They're very into the black thing. They don't understand that it's not just like a white thing. They're so-called racism. I grew up with Mexicans and Asians,
Me too.
A few Indians, and it wasn't just like a white thing. Everybody gave them the side eye. We were all never relax around them, that kind of deal.
Oh, around blacks
So
in
for her-
particular.
Yeah,
Yep.
and she's gonna act like it's just like white people do it, and then everybody else is on her side. I just think that's a very naive and a tunnel vision way to look at things, because it's kind of all of us.
Right.
So,
And the blacks
and I would-
themselves
and
know
the other
that
thing,
about
too,
themselves.
Before I forget,
Mhm.
I wouldn't call it hate when you're cautious of other cultures' behaviors that don't really align with you.
Of course.
That's not hate, but she and others will call that hate
Yeah.
or discrimination, whatever.
Right.
And I just think that's it's lame. It's corny.
I think that's
Even-
a sober-minded take on the callers, and anyone who's of their mindset. I think they should heed your words and consider them, for sure, man.
Yeah, like it's not just a white thing. Like if Maze went into a 7-Eleven and there were some Sikh owners, they're gonna be watching her. If she went to like the Chinatown market, they're gonna be watching her.
Right.
It's not a white thing. It's the behavior. They've noticed patterns and behaviors, and we know it's not all, but we dislike the ones that do, and that's not hate. That's like being smart.
Yeah. I agree, man. Definitely.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it I had for today. Nothing really that crazy.
No problem. I wish you well, man. Thank you for the call. Insightful.
Yeah, go try to pet some sort of crazy wild animal today.
I will. All right, Alex.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye. Man, what a mess. Oh, I got to read some super chats, guys. We're nearing the top of the hour. Popcorn's Thump Keg donated a coffee saying, you often preface statements about love, such as, I love the blacks, by saying, if I love anybody. So here's a yes or no question. Do you love anybody? Please answer. Of course I do. Yes. I ask in part because it seems like you tend to call people evil / say they have no love, which suggests you can see, i.e. you aren't blind. But if you don't love anyone, then you are blind / evil. So how does a blind person know that another person is blind? That is an interesting question. Can a blind person know another person is blind? I think blind people can recognize evil sometimes in one another. You know how women have that feminine intuition? You guys, press 1 if you believe in feminine intuition. Press 2 if you don't believe in feminine intuition. Press 3 if you're not sure. 4 if you're just here for chat. If you're watching in the chat. Or in the comments section. I think that oftentimes people can recognize weaknesses in one another and stuff like that. I'm getting 2s. Monto put 2. Christ Conquers put 2. You don't think they have intuition? Why all the 2s? Everybody's putting 2. Chris is just here for chat. Terry, I knew I could count on Terry. Terry believes in feminine intuition. So does Baldman54, based Baldman54. He knows there's feminine intuition. Even JLP has said women are more earthy. They're closer to the ground. They're closer to the serpent. They can, not that they're more down to earth, but they can detect evil in one another and kind of slick like that. Very judgmental. Sometimes they judge wrongly, of course. But I think a blind person can detect the evil in one another. I think that we're all made by God on top of all that, right? And yes, our judgment does blind us and we get stuff so wrong oftentimes. Barking up the wrong tree. Arr, arr, arr. Barking up the wrong tree. That was a Hillary Clinton moment. For some reason, I have a picture of Hillary Clinton barking like a dog. I think that people can see. They're in their blindness. Yeah, like there's blind people who can tell that Trump is right. But they get overboard with it and then they like follow him and they don't have any space. And then they get alienated and all that stuff. Hake is saying women are evil, so they recognize evil. LOL. Anyway, interesting question, Popcorn's Thump K. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. As always, I definitely do appreciate it. Let me double check, because I feel like there was a Rumble rant. Oh, I got that Rumble rant. Let me double check over on the D Live crew. What's up, Groovy Monkey? Thank you for the lemon. That may have been the last thing. The D Live crew. Okay. David in Ocala, Florida is on the line here. David, what's up? How you doing, man?
Hey, happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you, man. It's my birthday, not yet, but in a couple of weeks here, and just over a couple of weeks, the 17th.
Oh, I thought it was the 14th. Okay, well, happy birthday, buddy.
Hope I make it.
So did you well, first off, I want to tell you
up
did a good job with the Leviticus thing, because that's called rightly dividing the word.
Say again?
That's called rightly dividing the word, because Leviticus is written to the Jews. In fact, the whole Bible's written to the Jews. And if
No,
you
the
read
Israelites. It's not just the Jews.
Well, the Israelites.
Yeah.
Same thing. Okay.
But it's also
So
to the
anyway.
Gentiles.
Well, yes, it is.
At least the New Testament is also to the Gentiles.
Well, that's correct. Okay, but if you I don't want to go on a rabbit
And it
trail,
applies,
but
honestly, it applies to mankind, because it talks about human nature and God. God is the God over all, even if we don't acknowledge Him as God.
You just can't grab things out of the Bible, man. And
I
pick
know.
it for yourself like America does.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to sort of maybe butcher this, but if my people who are called according to my name will humble themselves and turn from their wicked ways,
And
I
pray.
will hear from them and heal their land.
Yeah, and
That's
seek my face.
Israel, man. That ain't America.
But wouldn't that apply in general, possibly? Like, wouldn't it be like a good thing to humble ourselves and pray and seek His face and turn from our wicked
sure
ways?
It would
And then
be, but
I think it would
listen,
naturally. I think naturally it would follow. We would heal.
Well, this country's too far gone, buddy, and the reason why you got the Biden thing, like that debate.
Too
the
far
other
gone
night.
just means that we won't humble ourselves and pray. That's all it really means.
Well, that's because over more than half the people in the country don't believe in. They're atheists, man.
Oh, really?
So how's that going to happen?
How did you find out that more than half the country are atheists?
I'm
You
just
sound like
guessing,
JLP.
But
JLP says
I'm-
most
I'm-
Christians are atheists.
a lot of people that say they're Christians aren't Christians.
I know.
That's
I'm with
why
you
this
on that.
country's going down, buddy.
Yeah.
You know, when you go and you blow up millions of women and children in Vietnam and Iraq, okay, you're watching the repercussions of what's going on. You know, that's why all this stuff is going on, because we have went and destroyed countries, man, to make profit. That's all that's going on right
Who's
now over
we?
there in Ukraine. The U.S. government.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the issue. I mean, that's among the evil things that the American government and American people have done, is these wars. I don't take that away. I think that that's one symptom of the things that we've done. I think that our hearts are evil.
Well, their
And
hearts are definitely evil. I mean,
Yeah,
when
definitely.
you rainbow the White House, I mean, who could have imagined this
Yeah.
25 years ago? There's no way that anybody would believe that they would have their own month, Pride Month, that they'd be rainbow in the White House, they'd be promoting all this stuff. You know, and you talk about don't overreact. See, that's what Mark's talking about. See, nobody's reacted for so long. They've just
Yes, they have,
this
though.
country.
People have been reacting. People have been reacting.
Lately.
No.
but
For
they stepped
decades.
back.
For decades. You ever heard of the Christian Coalition? Something like that?
Uh-huh.
They've been reacting, and it hasn't stopped anything.
Right. Well, yeah.
Sometimes
anyway,
our reaction furthers these things along because we react in anger and outrage, and it's just a turnoff. And so they keep on winning because we're reacting like losers. You know what I mean?
They keep on winning because they're the majority now, buddy. I mean, they bred these people in colleges for the last 50 years.
Yeah, but how were they able to brainwash the young people without the parents? If the parents were still right, the parents were wrong. That's why the young people were able to be turned away.
Well, there's a lot of parents that would disagree with that because they've had their children come home and they're like aliens to them.
Right, and that's because the parents set them
up.
up. The parents were weak or evil themselves.
Well, the professors did. You know, my
No.
father
The
had a
parents, the professors could not turn the children away if the parents were strong and
well,
right.
the child was strong too. You know, when
The child becomes strong
prayer
from
out of the school.
the child becomes strong from
kids were
parents.
young,
Though.
I understand, but when these kids were young in the 50s and early 60s, they were coming in and the teacher was reading the Bible to them after they said the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag
Right.
and all that. And once they took that out, they just slowly, and then the divorce rate went up in the late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
Destroyed the family unit, you know.
There's been
And now we got a bunch of lesbians and freaking wackos.
But think about it.
Running everything.
But think about it. If reading the Bible and praying in schools was the strong foundation that you thought it was, how did it ever get taken away? You know, because those children, those children who were raised going to praying in school and all that stuff, they turned away from it because it wasn't real.
Well, it wasn't real to them.
Yeah.
So I called about Biden.
Yeah.
And that you see this gaslighting on steroids now for this guy. Okay. I mean, that 1,000-yard stare that old man had, and you know, he just, you know, I'm glad they did it the way they did it because it totally exposed him. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it exposed him.
Right.
He's gone, dude. He's gone. And,
Poor guy. Do you feel sorry for him? Or am I just
he's
a mama?
Plagiarist. He's a liar and he's a plagiarist. Okay? And go back and watch him years ago, like in 1988, when they busted him for all the lies that he said he was in the top of his class and all this horse crap, you know?
Wow. I didn't know that you said that.
Yeah, he did. He told this guy, hey, I'm smarter than you. I was in the top of my class and blah, blah, blah. And they found out he was in the bottom. He was like in the 80th, you know. He was way down, okay? They cold busted him, and it was all over the news.
Yeah.
And like, it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
That's interesting, man.
But he's a creep. You know, he's smelling little girls' hairs and stuff. But here, I want you to, this is what people don't sort of realize.
Okay.
The voting. Is the electoral college, okay?
Electoral college.
Yeah, they got California and New York and Washington State wrapped up, okay? That's 94 electoral votes right off the bat. So now all they got to go after is about 7 other states, okay? And if you notice, they concentrate on the ones up around New York, like Pennsylvania, Ohio, Iowa, Michigan. All those states average about 17 electoral votes each. They don't care about Mississippi, who gets 6, or Arkansas that gets 6. And so what they're doing is they're going after Texas, and when they finally get Texas, it's over.
You think so? They've been
'cause
fighting to
that's
turn
40,
Texas
that's 40.
blue. I covered that about 10 years ago when I was producer for JLP. They've been pushing to turn Texas blue, and it's happening.
Right.
Texas is so weak. Shout out to Texas. What a mess.
You know, I hate to say this, man, but it's the truth. If you want it, you can blame a lot of America's problems on the Jews, the blacks, and the women.
Why do you say that?
Because they vote Democrat.
They definitely do.
And now these Jews that are in New York,
Yeah.
they are not Christian Jews or anything. They don't believe that Jesus is the Messiah.
Right.
To them, it's all about money. They got to be a doctor or a lawyer. They raised them up that way, and if they say Jesus, man, the house will be set on fire. And that's what I'm talking about when you read the Bible, when Jesus said, I came to bring division between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law and all that stuff.
Yeah.
He's talking about the Jews, because if one of them Jews becomes a believer in Jesus, they lose their whole family, which we talked about before. I'm sorry. But
Huh. Interesting.
So that's rightly dividing the word is what I'm saying.
Okay. Nice.
So what do you think about that electoral college thing?
Yeah. That's them. That's the world. They're trying to manipulate so that they can win. They don't care. They'll
Right.
stop at nothing.
Well, this has been Obama's third term. Remember when he was in
Basically.
the White House early after Biden, and Biden was following him around like a lost dog?
No, I didn't see that. This was after Trump?
Yeah, once Biden was in the office, they brought Obama into the White House for some night celebration or something. And
I vaguely remember that. Yeah. Obama was
now,
like
why
the
would they
star
do
of
that?
he was like the life of the party, and then Biden's like wandering around, acting like he's like, poor Biden. Aw. Anyway, thank you, David, for reminding us of that story. That was amusing and a mess. That's the world.
Yeah, well,
so evil.
One last thing about the LGBTQ and the gays and all that kind of stuff. Remember, they just wanted to be accepted and everything, and now it's a runaway
They were
train.
lying. Yep.
That's why you can't. That's why some people need to overreact and put their foot down, because if not, in fact, really, man, let me leave you with this. I really feel that America is over, and it won't be. We won't be around by 2045. I can't see 20 more years of this. Okay, I just really
you've
can't
said that
see
many
it.
times, man. But I already told you that overreaction is what got us here. Putting your foot down and overreacting didn't do anything to stop it. People been overreacting and trying to put their feet down. You heard
Not
what,
like the other side. We ain't burning buildings down, and we're not running around.
that's
screaming,
not the right way to do it.
Yeah, but they have their own month. They have all these freaking parades and stuff like that. They put all this.
But
stuff
parades
up in
aren't going to change
schools.
anything either.
Well, no, I'm just saying that it's in your face. They
I
don't
know that.
care. I mean,
Yeah, I
could
know
you
that.
imagine having could you imagine?
The only thing I'm disagreeing with you about is people need to overreact and put their foot down. Like, about what? How are you
Well,
going to stop it? You can't.
Maybe not overreact, but step up to the plate, man. Okay. 'Cause
Fine.
The word of God. This is what's going on with them people.
I got to
said
keep
they
it moving, man.
I know they professed to be wise. They became fools.
Yeah, indeed.
Have a great show, buddy.
Appreciate you, man.
Thanks for taking my call.
Of course. Take care.
See
Happy
ya.
White
All right,
History
bye,
Month.
Bye. Yeah, happy White History Month. Right on. Take care.
All right. Man, oh man. Okay, hang tight, callers. Pull up this folder inside the other folder. Make America Chaste. I saw this headline from a while back. Been meaning to cover it. Call it Make America Chaste again. And it's a losing message for the GOP in 2024. So writes this opinion piece. So reads this opinion piece. It has young ladies with fists in their air in pastel colors, being all smiley, multiracial young ladies. Some of them dressed more modestly than others. And this is an opinion piece by one Karen Finney. Karen Finney, CNN political commentator, senior spokesman, female spokesman, obviously, and senior advisor to Democrat presidential candidate Hillary Clinton in 2016. She would know about losing. She says this is a losing message, making America chaste again. Oh, so she's a Hillary Clinton woman, and she thinks that she's going to give the GOP good advice. Because Hillary lost, in 2016. The views expressed in this commentary are her own. No, they are not, this Karen Finney woman. She doesn't have her own views. She has no views at all, except evil. She has that feminine intuition. CNN opinion headline: call it "Make America Chaste Again," and that's a takeoff from. You can show the next headline there. That's a takeoff from "Make America Great Again" by our greatest president. Make America great again. And so there's this photograph that goes along with this article, op-ed. My uterus, my choice. That's vulgar. My body, my choice. Women make America great. Presumably outside the Supreme Court. Is that the Supreme Court building? I don't know. I haven't been to D.C. in a while. Oh, yes. Demonstrators outside the U.S. so-called Supreme Court in Washington, D.C. The swamp itself earlier this year as reproductive rights, communist buzzword, satanic evil buzzword anyway, becomes a front burner on the 2024 campaign issue. It's a photograph from Bloomberg, Getty, etc. Okay, so this Karen Finney gal says, like many Americans, I've used contraception. TMI, lady. Ugh. Nasty. Like millions of Americans, I've used contraception. Ladies, don't do that. You mess up the children. I had a Mexican friend once, coworker actually, and he said that his sister took contraception, and it took her like 5 years to have a baby after she got off the contraception. I may be misremembering exactly what he said, but using birth control was as much about preventing pregnancy and the decision I make about what's right for my health and well-being as exercising my basic right to control my body and my future. What a psycho woman, huh? No wonder we're not having enough babies. Well, among other things, right? Because people are not getting married either. And you should do that first. And like the millions of female athletes, as a college rover at UCLA, I also use birth control to help regulate my periods. During our competitive season when I needed to be at my peak. Oh, that's not good. There's another reason we shouldn't have women's sports. Somebody brought up this WNBA thing. Imagine, like, you have that time of the month and you don't feel up to it, and then you still have to play, or you don't play. You have to cancel or whatever. Whereas men don't really have that issue. But the women do. And so they're messing with their bodies just for ego. So sick. So wrong. Ladies, you live in a whole nother world. And it's a mess. It's a right that my mother fought for. Wow, she blames her mother. And one I honestly took for granted for most of my life. But this basic right that I and millions of Americans, it's actually supposed to be millions of Americans and I. You put others before you, but she puts herself before others. Very telling with her grammar. Have had for almost, or sentence structure anyway, have had for almost 60 years. You're not even 60 years old and you don't look like Karen Finney. Maybe that's a compliment. Seriously at risk. Threatened by the same agenda by our greatest president, Donald J. Trump. She doesn't call him our greatest, I do. MAGA Republicans, make America great again. and their right-wing allies. There are barely anybody right-wing in America. Give me a break. Who led the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn Roe v. Wade, based 2 years ago. Solid effort, wrote the overturning of Roe v. Wade. Didn't change much. Really, it just made them worse. Kind of like Trump coming into office, made the border go out of control because they were like trying to get in hard while they could. In addition to the torrent of extreme new measures imposing all-out bans on abortion in some states, I call it Aborsh for short. Hat tip to my former de facto producer who used to call it Aborsh. I think it's cute and it's not as ugly, but it is an ugly thing. But I like to use nice words, even for ugly things, sometimes. You know, baby killing. Many of our greatest presidents' same right-wing allies scaled up efforts, blah, blah, blah. Probably recognizing that Make America Chaste Again is not a winning 2024 message in a country where 9 in 10 adults view contraception favorably. Wow, what's wrong? See? David and Ocala is right. 9 out of 10 Americans are degenerates who view contraception favorably. And I probably just view contraception somewhat ignorantly because, you know, I'm ignorant on the issue a little bit. It's not surprising that, as with his position on abortion, Trump continues to try and have it both ways on so-called reproductive freedom. They're not for reproductive freedom. That's another euphemism for letting me kill the babies in the womb and also letting me play God with IVF, in vitro fertilization. I don't know. I don't have a big opinion on IVF at this point that I can tell. Maybe if you push me, I'd probably have some strong opinions, but I just don't know. In a recent interview, Trump said he was considering restricting access, communist buzzword. This is from June 17th, by the way, to birth control. Considering restricting access to birth control and leaving a decision to the states. A short time later, the gaslighting started. Gaslight. You know, where it's this old 1950s movie or a couple of movies where this husband lowers the gaslight, makes it dimmer, and the wife is like, hey, is this getting darker in here? And the husband is like, no, it's not darker. You're just going crazy. That's called gaslighting. And so people lie to you in your face about what you're seeing, and they make these changes, sometimes subtle and sometimes in your face and not very subtle at all. And then they lie to you about it. That's the Democrats and most of the rhinos. Trump falsely claimed on social media that neither he nor the Republican Party supported imposing restrictions on or banning birth control. Both statements demonstrably false. Both as a candidate 2016 and now again 2024, Trump has supported dismantling ACA, Obamacare, the so-called Affordable Care Act, total misnomer, which would impact millions of women who have access to birth control with no out-of-pocket costs. Oh, in other words, they're just stopping from giving it to you for free, paid for by taxpayers and or the employers. Give me a break. Give me a break. In other words, she wants special treatment. Hate that word, gaslighting, says Joel Friday TV. Whoa, I didn't know that Joel Friday hated anything. So anyway, Trump did weaken, while unsuccessful in overturning Obamacare, she called it ACA, because she's a phony. Trump did weaken Obamacare's contraception mandate by issuing rules that allowed employers to refuse to cover contraception in their healthcare plans. Yeah, because a lot of Catholics and normal people don't feel that we should pay for somebody else to stop from having children. This part is funny. I gotta read it. It's amusing, and then I'll get back to calls. Hang tight. I'll try to get to all of you, too, by the way. In the Arizona, GOP Senate Majority Leader Sonny Borelli. This is the last screenshot here. Absurdly suggested women could simply hold an aspirin between their knees as birth control. Nice. And she has no I don't know if she's laughing about this or if she's being a pill about it. Have you ever been a pill? Press 1 if you've ever been a pill. Have had ill humor. You're such a pill. A pill is bitter. You don't like the taste of pills. It's a sour look on her face. Absurdly suggested that women could simply hold an aspirin. You know an aspirin is like a little pill? Painkiller pill? If you hold it between your knees, basically you're keeping your legs closed. Sorry, that's sort of a vulgar statement. Vulgar phrase. Pardon me. But I had to say it to explain it, I feel. As hold an aspirin between your knees as birth control. Nice. Right on. That's the best birth control. Don't have the S. Some of them think that they can't control themselves, and they've crossed the line so much they can't stop. Indiana has seen misinformation campaigns falsely labeling IUDs as abortifacient. Oh, IUDs. Oh, that's like a piece of plastic, right? Or capable of inducing or string, or both. Capable of inducing abortion. I wonder if there's any truth to that. But she calls it false. In Iowa, legislation falsely conflated birth control with abortion to block the approval of over-the-counter birth control pills. Oh, like the morning after? I don't know. In Wisconsin, a legislator argued that contraception leads to infidelity, a proliferation of STDs, and is unnatural. Right on. I agreed with that. Virginia's Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin vetoed a state version of the Right to Contraception Act, a right to contraception, which would have protected Virginia's right and access to contraception, including condoms, birth control, IUDs, and emergency contraception. Democrats, along with reproductive rights groups, meaning pro-abortion groups, and give them all this free stuff and special treatment, right? Proactively introducing right to contraception, Alabama, Arizona, and all these other states. Sick stuff, huh? Evil ladies and simps for the ladies, right? I'm for making America chaste again. It's doable. Shout out to, what made me think of this was Alex in California's condemnation, thank you, Hassan, of that. Well, I don't even want to repeat the phrase that she said that went viral, but it had to do with a hawk, like that hawk. Except not a flying hawk, but more like hawkaloogie. So wrong. So sick. These women out of control, and they're making them, they want to hold on to their misery. Because that's all this stuff is misery. Scandalous indeed, Terry. Let's talk to some men. I got to talk to, let's see, William in California is on the line here. What's up, William? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, James?
Hey, not much.
Right on.
Cool.
Oh, yeah, happy White History Month.
Thank you, man. You too.
Yeah. May I?
Yeah, please.
Richard Petty. Good white American.
Oh, American race car driver. He had a nice mustache. I'm looking him up right now. He was nicknamed the King, American former stock racing driver.
Absolutely.
Died in
200 wins. I think 200 wins.
Hey, he's still alive, I think.
Yes, he is. 200 wins and I think 7 or 8 Daytona 500 wins.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, happy White History Month.
Happy White History Month. I met him one time in the pit area, and that's if you want to go any race, it is good to buy a pit pass because you can get really close to the racers.
Oh, cool.
And I got a good picture of me and him in the pit area, and that's Mr. Petty. Could you take a picture?
Nice.
He didn't hesitate.
That's cool.
And he's like, I got to do this because, the fans are that's who pays us.
Yeah. Right.
Good man. Yeah, good man.
Cool.
Let's go to the news. 2 or 3 things happened this weekend. Well, I guess you heard, because I think some of your callers are accusing Trump of running, and which is not true, but he has been granted full immunity.
Okay.
So there's a little small victory right
Oh,
there.
not full immunity, some immunity.
Not full, but yeah.
Some immunity in his official capacities as president. I saw that. So now they're passing it back to a lower court to decide what acts he did as in an official capacity and what acts he did in his like private capacity.
It really is not too many people that can actually point out what these 34 charges.
34. I know.
They can't. The average person would not even, if you tell them to stop rambling for a minute and say, "Okay, what did he do?"
Yeah.
A lot of times people don't know what he did. They don't even understand it.
Yeah.
But there was a huge fight. Speaking of the alphabet thing with the rainbow pillars, which was ridiculous. They had I didn't know that they turned Pride. It used to be Pride Week.
Oh, really? Well, up in Canada, I heard from American Anchor Baby, who was an Anchor Baby in Canada, that they had Pride Summer. Like they turned the whole season, Pride Season, angry face emoji.
I mean, I thought it was Pride Week.
It might have been at one point. It's just expanding out of control. Pride,
it's a month now.
Yeah,
James, it's
ridiculous.
A month. And they had their last day Sunday in New York. They had a bunch of fat black lesbians fighting in the middle of the street. They were on the pole and top of the traffic lights, humping the traffic lights.
Ooh,
and
no!
They had a serious brawl out there of a bunch of lesbians fighting in the middle of the street and just going crazy.
Yeah, not good.
And no. I hope this doesn't turn into something. There was I don't want to promote another show. I'll just say the last part, Cracker. And there was a video of a black guy down here, and I think it was Mexico. He said something about he was a citizen. Well, this guy was instead of opening the door, kicked the door in and busted the glass and walked up to the desk, and he said something about you can't arrest me. I'm a citizen. And the police picked him up in the air and slammed him on the marble floor. I hope this guy's all right, but he really got messed up pretty bad, But I thought he was going to fight, but after that floor, there was no fight left in him.
No, yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah. Usually blacks are really
brought
hard
on himself,
to arrest.
though.
Well, they're hard to arrest. You know that, right?
Yeah, definitely. They're squirrely.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There's one lady, black girl, that last summer, earlier this summer, she got out of the handcuffs. I'm like, how do you do that?
Maybe she's double jointed. She was able to get her break her thumb bone and get out of those. Something.
Yeah.
Terrible.
So what did I heard David talking about the Israelites? What they do now?
Well, he wasn't talking about the black Hebrew Israelites. He was talking about the Israelites of the Bible, the true Israelites.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. But he did talk about how people in America misquote the Bible and apply it where it doesn't apply.
That's why when you ask me if I'm Catholic, I just tell you yes, and I leave it at that.
Nice. That's right.
I may be Catholic, but I'm not qualified to sit there and beat somebody up with that. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
But
very
he's
true.
Right. We did say we did do the Pledge of Allegiance every day in school.
Yep, I did too. I remember. Ready, begin.
And prayed.
Yep.
And we prayed too in a Catholic school. We prayed,
wow.
And we did both the flag, and then we prayed, and then we prayed first, and Pledge Allegiance, whatever. God, it's been a long time. But we did do that stuff, and I think David is right. We got away from a lot.
That's why it's good to listen to the older people, because the older people are in touch with they remember how things were and how much things have changed, and it can be kind of eye-opening,
Yeah, because somebody in your chat tried to give me a vibe. I feel woman-beating vibes you don't even know me. You sit down.
Yeah.
I have a lot of women.
Don't worry about the chat, man. You're a grown man.
Wait a minute, just bringing this up as an example. I have a lot of women in my family. And if you get
you don't even have to have
them,
women in your family to know not to hit anybody.
Hit them and all of that, but they I know their behavior too, and
right.
They get really loud and masculine. That's a good word for it. And real ladies, like you had a Southern Belle on the phone the other day. Real ladies don't get offended by that about being a lady. They are what they are.
Yep.
And then now, one lady told me it is an insult to call me masculine. I can kind of get that because in a way, it makes sense. Right. It makes sense, But like I said, lots of girls in our family, when they get together, they're really loud and everything. And then, some do, some don't. I'm one of them. I was just like, hold on, wait a minute. We don't play that.
Nice.
Okay, you're not going to overtalk me. You're not going to overpower me. Stop it. And just nip it in the bud, and then they kind of like know who to mess with and who not to mess with. But God, they're loud. They're a lot of fun. I love my cousins and everything, but they're just so loud and everything. But yeah.
Thank you, William. Appreciate hearing from you, man.
But happy White History Month, and make sure you get everybody to celebrate it because white people built a very nice country here.
Indeed, that's for sure.
And you should
shout out to the whites. Yeah.
Yes, you did a good job with a nice country here, and we should try to save it.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Take care.
Okay, take care, James.
All right. Zenny says, Happy Canada Day. God bless Canada. Please, we need it. LOL, lots of laughs. Prayers for Canada. Hey, shout out to Canada. Can we get some prayers for Canada on Canada Day? We wish Canada well. Stop sending us your smoke. And Mexico, stop sending us your dirty Tijuana sewer water. I'd rather have smoke from Canada than dirty Tijuana sewer water in our beaches and oceans and air. What a mess. I feel like there might have been another super chat that came in around here. Maybe, maybe not. Just double check over on the coffees and stuff. Oh, yeah, indeed. Tom bought a coffee on women spotting evil. I think women are experts at spotting evil in others because that is how they avoid seeing the evil in them. They have to blame someone else. Yeah, I mean, in general, if you know yourself, historically, if you will, not that it's written down, but if you consider, you can see the flaws in others quite readily and not so much in yourself. And women, same thing. Thank you, Tom. Yeah, and that's human nature too. And women have that. And when they dodge and blame and refuse to take responsibility, they're not completely lying always necessarily. It's not all non-factual. There are some facts with it, even though it's not the truth. Even liars have facts. Not a victim bought a coffee. Thank you, Tom. That's cool. They definitely do blame somebody else. Not a victim bought a coffee. Hake, if I turn from my ways, America will be healed. I'm 9% Jewish and was born in America. Hey, shout out. See, we love the Jews. Not a victim. That's cool. Your little corner of the world will be healed. Indeed. Thank you, not a victim, if you turn from your wicked ways. And also, it is White History Month, so I would like to say rest in peace once more to Asmodor, his well wishes to his family and friends, Hate Farmer, Tony, and the rest. We wish you well, his parents. he, like I said, when after the day that I heard that he died, he seemed to be an honorable man and a reasonable man. And I know that he loved JLP, called him his pastor. He saw that JLP was right about the anger thing. Drop the anger. Very knowledgeable man, our resident historian. So he is white history. Or was white history. Now he is in heaven. Maybe, I don't know. But we wish him, may he rest in peace. And nice. There are other honorable men whom I admire as living history. Sheriff Joe Arpaio, 90-something years old. And a solid man. He outlived his wife, Ava. That's not as common for men to outlive their wives. Right on, man. He's more cogent than Biden. I saw him when he was about 89, 90 at AFPAC 3, 2021, speaking there. And it was a great speech. He did get forced off the stage early because he was going long. Everybody was going long. But it was a nice speech. I liked hearing him. He's like, so they call me a racist. Everybody cheered. He's like, what are you cheering about? He's older than a boomer, Sheriff Joe Arpaio. The media had my mind about him, against him. And then I heard him on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. I'm like, oh, you know what? He's solid. This is before I was even producer. Our greatest president, Donald J. Trump. A solid man. You heard Congressman Steve King on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, if you caught that today, first hour. Living heroes. Daniel in Texas is on the line here. Daniel, thank you for calling and holding. What's up?
Well, James, happy White History Month.
Thank you. You as well.
What's your favorite white history?
Huh. Man. Dukes of Hazzard. But not the movie, because the movie was degenerate. But
okay.
I really liked Bo and Luke Duke when I was a kid.
Oh, okay. And the General Lee?
Yeah, the General Lee. That was probably my primary exposure to the beautiful rebel flag. Battle flag.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah. How about you?
Oh, American Civil War.
Oh, okay. That's your favorite, huh? That was a terrible thing, though. Wasn't it terrible?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But even
yes,
in the terrible things, there was very fine people on both sides, I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a picture into human nature, I bet.
It is, yes. And what is often overlooked is Lee's accomplishments before the American Civil War.
That's right. He was an American war hero, I think.
If there had been no American Civil War, he'd be historically known as the greatest soldier.
Wow.
Because when he went to the Mexican-American War, Winfield Scott, who at the time was the greatest soldier of his time, said that the bravest soldier in the Mexican-American War was Lee.
Nice.
And it's because of Lee's audacity. Lee was an engineer, and he had crossed very treacherous terrain over the Churubusco Flats through Mexico City, which is a very barren and inhospitable. It's basically volcanic terrain, and he was able to cross terrain with no real supply. They cut off their supply lines. They took all that they had, and they crossed this vast, basically wilderness, and came out. And they faced enemies that were far superior in numbers against them, and often in better fortified positions than they'd had.
Wow.
And Lee did that. In the American Civil War, basically, the memory of Lee is either that of a rebel or that of a revolutionary.
Didn't he help with the Reconstruction efforts?
He did. Yeah, he did. But his legacy has clearly been the war itself.
Yeah, definitely. And they've smeared his name for out of hatred, out of their own hatred. Interesting, man. Well, thank you for your contribution on that.
Imagine if the greatest soldier of our time today, if there was a world-renowned great soldier of our time rebelling against, this government.
Yeah.
It would be very similar to, that's basically what that was.
Right. But that was
soldier.
Correct me if I'm wrong. That was out of loyalty to the state of Virginia because state loyalty mattered.
I think Lee had multiple loyalties.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think he had 4 loyalties.
Okay.
To just kind of break him down simply. I think he had loyalty to the slaveholding South. He had loyalty to the state of Virginia. He had loyalty at one point to the United States of America. And he had loyalty to the Confederate national government.
Wow.
He was a man divided 4 ways.
That is interesting. Poor Robert E. Lee.
Poor Lee. His father was one of George Washington's chief lieutenants, and he was very successful. His name was Light Horse Henry Lee. And he had a lot of problems after the Revolutionary War. He basically fell into debtor's prison. He had gambling debts and drinking problems. And Lee saw his father in this manner and decided for himself that he was not going to be like that he was going to take care of his family.
Yeah.
He took care of his mother at a very early age. And he saw moderation in all things he did, and a lot of that came from how he perceived his father.
Nice, man. That's cool.
Better
to learn from others' mistakes than to make them yourself.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Daniel in Texas. Appreciate you, man.
Okay. All right. Bye.
All right. Let me get to Mark in Los Angeles, California. What? Mark, disconnected. Rick in Hampton, Virginia is on the line here. Rick, thank you for calling and holding. What is up, man?
What's up, Brother James? What's happening with you?
Hey, not much. Happy White History Month to you, man.
Yes, absolutely. I was just about to comment on that, man. You know, it's so funny. The liberals give every race a holiday. Asians, Hispanics, blacks, Samoans, whatever. But when it comes to giving white America a history month, all this one have a hissy fit.
Indeed, they do. That's because they hate. What makes America great? They hate what makes America great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll hear blacks always talking about, they built it on the slaves' back. Well, guess what? The slaves had to have direction.
Right.
Somebody had to direct traffic and stuff, and somebody had to direct traffic and all that stuff.
Right.
So everybody contribute to building this country. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And every time you see it, the liberals constantly keep the vision going, keeping everybody mad at each other.
Right.
And
Very true.
Constantly keep people divided.
Yeah.
And my main thing is everybody contribute to this great nation.
Yeah.
Everybody.
True.
And not no one race did all the work themselves. I can't stand when I hear that.
Yeah.
So my thing is everybody is important. There should be a White History Month. And one thing about whites, I got some beautiful whites as friends and who I fellowship with.
Yeah.
And they are great people. And one thing a white person gonna give you as a gift, their favorite gift to give people is a book. Whites love to read. They love to read. They love knowledge. Nice. And I learned that about in whites. God built whites to stay in cold weather.
Oh yeah.
You know how everybody. You know how you hear blacks. Oh, y'all can't take the sound like we melanated people. And I come back and say, and I bet y'all can't take that cold up there in Europe either.
Indeed. That's a fact.
You know, so God made everybody unique.
That's
He made
right.
everybody unique. There's no one person better, no group of ethnic is better than any ethnic. God created everybody.
Yep. It reminds me of some Mary Rice Hopkins songs.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's cool, man.
Absolutely.
Well,
Yes,
appreciate the nice
white
message.
brothers and sisters. I love all the people that God has created. Whites, blacks, Asians, Hispanics. If I can do a song, I'll do it. I love all our people that God created.
That's right. That's cool, man. Rick in Hampton, Virginia, appreciate your White History Month blessing.
Yes, sir. Love you guys. Y'all be blessed.
All right. You too. Take care. Bye. You know, in the last few minutes here, they say every month is White History Month. That's not true. As I've said in prior years, every month is anti-White History Month. That's why you think that every month is White History Month, because that's like the common saying by the people who follow the crowd or people who've been taught in like standard thinking, normal thinking. Don't fall for standard normal. When I talk about standard normal thinking, I'm not talking about a mind that's functioning normally. I'm talking about a mind that has been conditioned to think away. You've been conditioned to think away. Just like I have admitted I was conditioned not to let myself even think that the LGBTs were more PDF per capita, you know? Which it's true. Pardon me for bringing that up. And again, like I said, like Popcorn's Thump Keg pointed out, I often say if I love anybody, I love blacks, or if I love anybody, whatever. You have to love the whites. Everybody should love the whites. It's better for you to love everybody. And shall we do little as much? I was thinking of doing a different song, but I don't know. That's not a bad song. Let's do little as much. This is a Mary Rice Hopkins track. I know it's what some of you guys are like, "Ooh, do a manlier white history song." Whatever. This is Mary Rice Hopkins. It's my show. Joel Friday TV is coming up next. I got to end on time. Little as much by Mary Rice Hopkins. Adios, America. Bye.
David was a shepherd who came to pray. Oh Lord, there's a giant in my way. And with this slingshot, Goliath was slain. And down he came like a giant earthquake. Little is much when he lives in your heart. Little is much when you know who you are. Little is much when he lives in your heart.
Little is much. This is Christian.
He could not see, and so he climbed up high in a tree. Jesus said, "Come down and follow me. Hear these words that I speak.
Zacchaeus.
I have come for the children, I have come for you. And through my name, greater things you will do. Whether you are a baby brand new,
Or if you are 102. Little is much when he lives in your heart. Little is much when you know who you are. Little is much when he lives in your heart. Little is much. If you say so, Hake. Little is much when you know who you are. Little is much when he lives in your heart. Little is much.
Moses never liked to speak, and when he tried, his knees
got
weak.
Moses was
He
shy.
felt such pressure, he was under the heat, but with the words God gave him,
He parted the sea.
Little is much when he lives
Little is much when you know who you are.
Little is much when
It's in your heart. Little is much. I like this song. It's weird but interesting. It's in your heart. When you know who you are. Little is much when you live in your heart. It's children's music.
Little is much.
Little is much. Little is much. Adios, America. Joel Friday TV coming up next. Bye.